This conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so where are we? We're discussing about the business rules, right?
Yes, business rules.
Okay, so we'll write some business rules. Okay, so I have created a company called ICACI and then the business units departments, and I have hired one employee under the same company, Avinash. Okay, let's go and look at that. Okay, this employee. So now if you go to the personal information, you have fields like first name, middle name, last name, gender, salutation, display name. Okay, now if you see here, if I change the spelling to something else, okay, I have your preferred name as well. Okay, so display name is somehow maintained as Avinash and the preferred name is still blank. Now, let's say every time the user saves the record or every time user edits the record. Okay, now let's say the whatever the first name I have, I want this first name to be defaulted as a preferred name, or it can be first name or the last name. Now I want this to be defaulted as the preferred name, defaulted as a display name. Now if you have such scenario, now it is like defaulting a particular value on a different field. So this is defaulting rule. Now if you have to write a rule to default some value onto a particular field. So how do you do that? Now let me go to business rules. A business rule can be written in configure business rule. Okay, go to configure business rule. Now these are the existing business rules. Now, if you want to search for the business rules, you can search for the existing business rule. But if you want to create a new business rule, then you need to click on plus.
Ravi, in case like
Yes,
if anybody write a business rule, we can use that also, right?
yes, we can also use that.
Mm.
But you don't know, right, why they have written what they have written.
Yeah.
To
No,
understand
in
what.
case. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, you have business rules can be written for all these modules: recruitment, position management, metadata framework, employee central core, benefits, advances. So you can write the business rules for any of these modules. Now, the general business rules can be written under the basic. Okay, so just go to basic, just give the rule name, ICICI default. Okay, once you press tab, it will automatically add that under rule ID. Okay, that means rule ID will also be the same as your rule name, but it should not have space. Now, if you go and modify this, it won't update. Okay, so rule ID should not have space. Start date of the rule, and then rule type is optional. If you want, you can add. Now you have rule types like defaulting rule. Now here you have default rule, just to understand what type of rule it is. Okay, now where do I want to do this change? This change is in personal information of the employee, right? So my base object should be personal information. Now, what fields you want to modify or what fields you want to update? I want to update the fields in personal information. So the base object should be personal information. You'll have all the objects here, all the portlets here, job information and so on. You have personal information. Select personal information and then continue. Now, this is where you will be writing the business rule. Now, whatever that you have saved, see, this is my rule ID, okay, rule name, and then rule type, and this is my base object. Okay, now if here you have conditions. You can write your expressions here under if and then. Now sometimes if it is always true, if there is no condition, you can say it is always true and write your expression in then. Now if you want to add more conditions, you can use and else if, add else if, and add else. You can use any of these things as well. Now each of these is called an expression. Okay, now what is my condition? What is my condition? My first name should be equal to preferred name, right? I want to default the sorry, I want to set the preferred name as first name, right? So now that means I should have some value in first name. First of all, I should have some value in the first name. Then that first name is to be defaulted in the preferred name. That means every time that there is a value in the first name, that means it should not be blank. It should have some value. Then that value is to be defaulted in the preferred name, right? So we'll write a condition where if personal information, if the first name is not equal to blank, then it should be updated the value in the preferred name. Okay, now just go to the drop down. Under personal information, which field you want to select? I want to have first name. Now select personal information first name. Whenever first name has got some value, you cannot define some value, maybe Avinash, or today it is Avinash and tomorrow it can be for some other employer, tomorrow it can be for a different employee, it can be any employee, but it should not be blank. It has got some value, then that value is to be defaulted in the preferred name. Personal information first name, see here, this is automated, is equal to or is not equal to. You can have either way, is equal to, is not equal to, anything you can use. Now for this condition I will use is not equal to. Is not equal to, here text, if you want to specify a value, a particular value, then you can specify that text. No, I don't want to specify any text. It should not be blank. That's it. Okay. So it is not equal to blank. So blank means it is null. Now this is my condition or this is my expression. Now just click on the eye icon. Okay, now this is done. If condition is done. If personal information first name is not equal to null, that means every time the first name will have some value. That value is to be defaulted. Then that condition I have to write in then. Just click on the pencil icon and drop down. You can set, you can raise message, you can create, you can delete, you can execute and add. Now in this case, I want to set the value. So select set. What value you want to set? I want to set the value under personal information. Which value? It is preferred name. What do you want to set? I want to set the personal information preferred name to be equal to your first name. In the text again, select first name. Now, I want to set the preferred name to be equal to my first name. Just once you're done with it, you just click on eye icon. Okay, now my condition says whenever you have some value in the first name, so default that in the first name, default that in the preferred name. Okay, now preferred name is to be defaulted with first name. Now first thing is done. I've created a rule. Now I need to assign this business rule somewhere. Okay, so that it will trigger in the personal information. Where do you want this rule to be triggered? When do you want this rule to be triggered? Whenever user
Personal.
saves the record. Saves the
Okay.
record. Now there are a couple of ways. Like whenever user initiates the record, like only for the first time. Whenever user saves the record, every time user opens and saves the record, and then every time you delete the record. So these are some of the scenarios where you want your rule to be triggered. So what I'll do is I'll go to duplicate. Now I have to assign this business rule. Okay, I have to assign this business rule. And where do we use all the personal information or all the portlets? We get all these portlets in manage business configuration. Manage business configuration. Now see here, these are all those portlets, comp information, job information, personal information, and so on. This is your personal information. Go to personal information. Now, if you go to personal information, you will see all the fields that are visible in the portlet. First name, this one. Okay, first name, if this is enabled, it is mandatory. Okay, now you will be modifying any of the fields here in the manage business configuration. See here, it is mandatory. Label is first name. Okay, now if it is a pick list, then it will show up the pick list values here. Okay, visibility. Now it says edit. That means anybody can edit. Maximum length allowed is 128 characters. Okay, so this is my first name. Now similarly, you have your business first name is also there, but it is not showing up. Business first name is not showing up. That means the permission is not given to business first name. Last name. Now here you have second last name, but this is not enabled. Enabled says no. That means it will not show up. Middle name, yes. Salutation, yes. Suffix, enabled is no. That means it is not visible. Alt 1 middle name, this is not visible. Alt 1 last name. So this is not visible because the enabled field is marked as no. Okay, so these are all the fields that we have on the personal information. Some are visible and some are not. Nationality is visible, but these fields are not visible. Now, if you scroll down to the end, you will have a trigger rules option. You'll have a trigger rules option. Okay, now here you have to assign your business rule. Now, go to the last line, personal information. When do you want to trigger this business rule? On save. On save means every time user saves the record. On init, on init means on the initiation. First time if you are creating a record, then it will trigger. On view, every time you go and view the record, your rule will trigger. Save alert. Now, if you want alert to be triggered, then it should be on save alert. On post save, after saving the record, it gets updated. Now, in this case, I want the record to be updated on save. Now, that means every time user clicks on submit or save, it should update the preferred name. Which rule is that? ICICI default rule. Rule. Personal information, ICICI default. Let me open it again. Check first. Why is my rule not visible? Okay, so I have not saved the record yet. Sorry, my fault. I'll go to see here. Rule is not saved yet. That is why it is not showing up. It's my bad. Okay, yes. Go to basic. I have not saved the record. ICICI default. Okay, I'll say rule type is default rule. Base object is personal information. Next. So write the condition again. Personal information. First name is not equal to null. Scroll down to the end. You'll find null. Yes. Set your first preferred name to be equal to personal information first name. Then just save it. Now this is saved. Now if you go to configure business rules, it is, I see. Now you can see your rule. This is your base object. Base object, you have selected personal information. So you will find all the rules that are with the base object personal information. Okay. Now this is enabled and I'll say save. Now I want to test my rule whether it is working or not. What I'll do, I'll go sorry, I'll go to the personal information of employee, go to history. Now your preferred name is blank. Okay, go to edit. Okay, so I've changed it now. First name I've changed it to Avinash Kumar M, last name to Singh. Yes, here preferred name is blank. I'll just save the record. Now preferred name is updated as Avinash Kumar M, whatever the value that you have. Now I'll change it to, again, see here, save. That means every time you save the record, system will update the first name to your preferred name. Is that clear? Okay. Now
Yes, Ravi.
I want to have this first name, preferred name to be updated before saving the record. Before I save, as soon as I enter some value in the first name, now that means if I'm changing the value in the first name, it should automatically appear on the screen itself. So that means you can apply your business rule on the field level as well. Now I have applied the business rule on portlet level. That means every time you save the record. No, I don't want it on the portlet. I want it on the field. That means every time you say you change the first name, it should get updated. Now I have removed that rule here and I'll go to first name, go to details, scroll down. Here you have some rules. At the end, you have trigger rules. I go to base object, personal information. You'll have only change. Whenever you change the first name, you want your rule to be triggered. Done. Okay. And save the record. Now I have removed the rule on the portlet. This was on the portlet and I have placed my rule on a particular field. That means every time you change the field, system should automatically change. Now I go to edit. I will change it. See here, it automatically updated. Now I will write again. Tab Avinash Kumar. I'll remove this and place my cursor on middle name. So immediately it gets updated here. On the screen, if you want it to be updated whenever you change the value on the field, then you need to assign your business rule on the field itself. So that means the business rules will work either on the field or on the portlet. If you're writing it on the portlet, then you need to save the record. But if it is on the field level, then whenever you change the field value, then it will automatically update. Clear?
Clear.
Yes, sir.
Save it. Now that's your default. Now you can write your business rule for anything like this, to default a particular field, to default a particular field. Okay. Now this is your defaulting rule. Now we'll see a different rule now. Okay. Yesterday we have discussed that here we have gender as a male. Okay. If I go to screen, show 3 more fields. I have here gender. Okay. I have here title and I have here salutation. Select Mrs. and then say save. Now is this correct? For male, is this value correct? No, right?
No.
It is not correct. But if user is doing such mistakes, okay, system should validate it. Okay, now how will system know? Here, salutation field, if you go to salutation field here, details, okay, it has got some values, pick list called salutation. Now today we have Mr. Mrs. Tomorrow if we have some other value there, doctor or something else. How will system know which value is to be used for male, which value is to be used for female? There are no such conditions in system. But if you want to have those kind of validations, this can be achieved through business rule. Okay, this can be achieved through business rule. Now, we'll go to business rule, create new rule, basic. Oh, it's not payment information validation. Let me see if I have anything for the validation. Okay, if not there, that's fine. Base object is again personal information. And then continue. Okay, now what is my condition? If personal information gender is equal to male, right? Personal information gender is equal to, now since it is a pick list, now you have value. Earlier in the last rule, it was showing as text, right? Because that field is string, so it was showing as text. But now this gender is values. It is showing as value because it is a drop down field. Now these are those values. Now if it is male, personal information, gender is male. Now, when do you want system to trigger a message or no validation? Now validation means system should tell you that this is not supposed to be salutation should not have this value, right? It should have some message. So firstly we'll go and create that message. Message can be created in manage data. You have to create a message first. What validation you want? For the whenever gender is male, you should not use Miss or Mrs. or please, or you should tell the user, please check the combination of gender and salutation. Okay, now I want to create a message, so let's go to message definition. Under manage data, you have message definition. What text you want to have? Please check the, now it can be male and Miss or Mrs., or it can be female and Mr. So I want that condition as well. So I'll just have the common error message. Please check the combination of gender and please check the combination of gender and salutation. That's my text. External code, say ICICI validation message. I have the same name. Status is active. All these you can leave. Save. Please check the combination of gender and salutation. Okay, this is my text. This is my external code. Now I'll go to business rule. Now, personal information gender is equal to value male. Okay, now what should my condition? Whenever user selects the gender as male and salutation as either Miss or Mrs. Okay, those conditions I have to include. Now I want to have here one more expression. I want to have the message when user selects male and user selects salutation Miss, then only I want the message. Now user selects male and selects the salutation as Mr. I don't want the message. I want to have the error message only when user selects gender male and one of the values in salutation Miss and Mrs. Then I want error message. So I have to write one more expression here. So if you have to write one more expression, you need to connect those two expressions either with and or. So in the drop down, see here, either you can edit, add, see here. Under add, you can add expression, you can add parent or end, copy and paste. So I just go to expression. When I say expression, system will include the expression, but both of these expressions need to be connected. So you can connect that using either or and. Okay, now here I will use and. Now I'll tell you when do we use or and when do we use and. Now the second condition is whenever the personal information salutation is equal to value Miss. Okay, now this can be Miss, this can be Mrs., it can be anything, any of these three values, right? Now at a time you will have only one value, right? Either Mr., either Miss or Mrs. So one of this value, if with male and one of these values, if you have this combination, then you want error. So I will write here one more expression. Add expression, or before that I will say or. I want to use or. Okay, so I will write here one more expression. When do you want? Before or after? I want it after. Before means it will be before this line. Now I'll say personal information salutation is equal to one more expression, or I can also copy this. Copy, paste. After here it got copied, so I'll change it to this. Okay, now this is fine. Mail, now see here, the condition is, I'll just click on I icon, it is done. Personal information, gender is male, and one of this value. This one, or this one, or this one. This one, and one of these values. Then I want error message. Go to then raise message. I want to raise the message. What is that message? ICICI validation message. What is that? Please check the combination of gender and salutation. Now the severity here, I have options, information, error, and warning. Difference between the information, error, and warning. Information means after saving the record, system will just give you some information. This message will be displayed after saving the record. If it is error message, while submitting the record, system will give you error and system will not allow you to move further until and unless you go and change it. Warning means it will just give you message. If you want to correct, you can correct, or if you want to proceed, you can proceed even without the changes. That's the difference between information, error, and message. Warning. So we'll first see with error, and then we'll see with warning and the information as well. Now I have saved the record. I'll go to manage business configuration. So I have to apply or assign this. Personal information. Scroll down. Personal information. While saving the record, I want say valid. Okay, this one. Now I'll go to testing. Read it. Now you have to save this record. Now you have male and Mrs. here. You have to save this record. Just I'll say some value. Try to save this record. It says error. Please check the combination of gender and salutation. You can go and check. Now I'll change it to something else. Please check the combination of gender and salutation. I'll change it to miss. Save. That means system will not allow you to save the record if you have this condition, male and salutation, one of these values. Now if I say Mr., it will save. Now you will get error message only when you have the values, whatever the combination that I have given here is equal to male and one of this one or this one or this one. That's the condition I have written. Go to try to save it. No, it will not allow you to save the record until you correct the sentence. Now, the same rule, if I use it as, if I use the message as severity as warning, and to see what does it say. I'll go to save. See here, it's a warning message now. Please check the combination of gender and salutation. Now you want to correct, you go and correct the, if you go and say, you can correct this. Okay. Or I say I'm selecting again the value, save. Now you want to correct, you have to correct. If you want to proceed without correcting, it will allow you to save. Error is stopping you there, but warning will stop you there. If you want to correct it, you can correct, or if you want to proceed without changing, yes, you can still proceed. I want to see the change, the information as well. Severity, will say information. Okay, edit. Now if I save it, see, it's saved, it's given message. Save. Here, information, please check the combination of gender and salutation. It is just an information. Okay, after saving the record, you got an information. Okay, now the same rule can be written in a different way. Now, instead of having these values, what I'll do is make correction. I'll delete this. Now, if it is gender is male and salutation is not equal to Mr. We can have that condition as well. Add expression after salutation. Salutation is not equal to, instead of equal to, said Mr. And the warning message, you want to make it error. Save it. This is another way of doing that. Now, what does it say? Personal information, gender is equal to male and salutation is not equal to Mr. That means every time it checks the value. If it is not Mr., anything else other than Mr., it will give error. I go to edit, select miss, save. Here, error. Save. Error. This value. There is no change. This value, error. It will not allow you, even this one. And this one, save, and gives you the same error message. Now, if I say Mr., then save. It gets saved because my condition here says gender is equal to male and not equal to Mr. Only when it is not equal to Mr., I want this message. Okay, now if I go and select here, let's say I'm selecting it as female. It is saved. Why it is saved? Because this condition I have not included in my rule. Right. So you can also have for the value female. that thing can be included using else if. And else if gender is equal to the value female, here again same thing is not, I can have a condition like salutation is not equal to miss or salutation not equal to misses, then I want to raise a message. Or if this is male, if this is female and the salutation is equal to male, salutation is equal to value Mr. Then I want raise message. This message. Again, this is error. I icon, I icon, I icon. Yes, save this. Now the same rule, I have two different conditions. Whenever it is male and not equal to Mr. Female and equal to Mr. Then I want the raise message. Here I want raise message and here I want raise message. Now I go to edit. Since the rule is already added, now if I say miss, it is correct. Okay. Now if it is Mr. is not correct. Okay. Or male. Yes. It will fail. Okay. So both the conditions, male and female. Is it clear? Yes.
Yes.
What about you, Sai? Anuj?
Sir, sir, you just told me that equal to that conditions, right? I am not able to grab it.
No.
Can you please repeat the one?
Now you just write it down in an Excel. What do you want to have? So here, what is your condition? You want to have a validation. When do you want that validation? If user is selecting, now you have gender, male and female. Okay. And salutation, for gender it should be Mr. For female it should be either Miss or Mrs. Okay. Now these are valid conditions. Now user should always select gender male. Whenever it is male, it should be Mr. Whenever it is female, it should be either one of this value. Right. Now, I want a validation to be triggered whenever user selects male and one of this value. Okay. Or male, and if it is not equal to Mr., that means they have selected some value here, Mr. and they have selected instead one of this value, then I want error message. Or user has selected female and they have selected salutation as Mr. These are wrong. These are not valid, right? So in these conditions, I want the validation to be triggered. These conditions, validation is to be triggered. So I've written a rule saying that whenever gender is equal to male and salutation not equal to Mr. If it is not equal to Mr., then it will. Now, if I
Okay.
check the condition here, I've selected male here and I will select here salutation. Now see here, it says me error. Even though it is blank, it gives me error because I'm checking these two conditions, male and if it is not equal to Mr. Every time it is not equal to Mr., then you will get message, error message.
Okay.
Okay. Similarly,
Yeah.
the other way, female and equal to, either it is equal to or not equal to, you can have in any way. If it is equal to Mr. and if it is equal to male, that is equal to. Now, if it is not equal to, then gender is equal to male and salutation not equal to Mr. Then you want the other message. Okay.
Okay. Yes, sir.
You can write it either on the Mr. value equal to Mr. not equal to Mrs. Anything is same, right?
Okay, sir. Yeah.
Got it? Can you write
Yeah.
some business rules? This same thing.
Yes, sir. Okay.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
this can be written in any, not only the personal information. Now these conditions you can have it in any other scenarios. It can be anything in job information, in no address, anywhere that you want, you can write a business rule. The only thing is you need to go and select. You need to go and select here. While creating the business rule, you need to select here basic and base object. Now, if you want to write it on job information, if you want your rule to be triggered on job information, then the base object should be base information. No, we'll go to just show you. I go to continue. Now here, if in the drop down, you will see all the fields of job information. Earlier, we could see that the fields were related to personal information, but I can see the fields related to job information. Okay, clear?
Yeah, clear, sir.
Now, I've just told you two types of rules. One is the validation, okay, where you want a message to be triggered. And second is your defaulting. Now, if you want some particular field to be defaulted with some value, then you can have the business rule here. Now, similarly, the same thing, the defaulting rule, you have the uh, propagation rule as well. Now, if you have observed on the position, if I go to manage position or manage data, both are same. I want to create a position. I want to create a position. Now, see here, if I select ICICI manager, here, when I select the job code, system defaulted job title, system defaulted position title, system defaulted employee class, system defaulted pay grade, system defaulted job level, system defaulted regular or temporary. All these fields are already there on. If I go to manage data on job classification. Job classification, here. I already have these values. I have job title, I have job level, I have regular or temporary, I have employee class, I have pay grade. So all these values automatically default. So the same fields I have here, position, job title, okay, employee class I have there, regular, temporary I have there, pay grade I have there, job level I have there. So whenever I select value, anything, any job. Here, whatever the values that I have on that particular job code, all of them getting defaulted. Now this is happening on position whenever I select the field job code. That means you should understand now. There must be a business rule which is defaulting. And where is that business rule assigned? Assigned to the field job code on position. And where do you define all these fields for position?
Business configuration.
No. Configure object definition.
Configure.
Man.
Okay.
Objects. Object definition,
Actually,
position. Employees objects manage business configuration. These
okay.
objects, MDF objects, configure object definition.
Okay.
Go to position. You see, these are all the fields there. Job code. If I go to job code, scroll down, you have rules here. Lower level job to position. Okay, there is a rule which is assigned here. So just click on it. View rule. Now, base object is position. So what does it say? It is always true. Every time it gets updated. Set positions job title to be equal to job codes job title, job codes employee class, job codes job level, job codes regular temporary, job codes pay grade, job codes default value. So positions job title, positions employee class, position job level, positions regular or temporary. Now these fields are getting updated with the values on the job code. Now similarly, when you select a position on the job information portlet, where is that? That would be under manage business configuration. Manage business configuration. You go to job information. You have position. Select the details. Scroll down. Job information on change position to job propagation. The data from position is being transferred to job information. Okay. When is this happening? Whenever position is not equal to null. That means if position has got some value, then job information's business unit is to be equal to position's business unit. Whatever the value that we have on position, whatever the department value that we have on position, whatever job code value you have on position, whatever the position job title you have on position, whatever cost center you have. So all these fields are being updated from position. Got it? The propagation rules.
No, Ravi, this is to create the position, right?
No, this is
I mean,
not
when
to
the
create.
job code. No, okay, the job information is it? What is a?
Now, if I go to job information of the employee,
Okay, job information. So it is getting filled from position, right?
yes.
Okay.
If I go to edit, if I have different position, I will, no, but I have only one position here. Let me do one thing. I've selected a different company and select the position. See here, once I select the position, okay, so it got updated. The business unit got updated to sales, division got updated to sales, department got updated to sales. location is become blank. Now job classification got updated, job title got updated, supervisor got updated, pay grade got updated, because all these details you have on this position. 9000241. So you have these details on position, sales, division sales, department sales, location, cost center is updated, this job level, pay grade, these things got updated here. Business unit, division, department, location is not updated because location is not there in the rule. Okay, pay grade got updated, job classification got updated, job title got updated, supervisor got updated because you have this supervisor, sales director, supervisor got updated. So that's because of the business rule that we have on position to job propagation. Whatever the values that you have on position, system is bringing those values onto job information. That's your propagation rule. Clear? Try some business rules for our next session, and then
Okay.
we'll see the workflow business rule on next session.
Tomorrow you don't have lessons, right, Ravi?
No, tomorrow we don't have session.
Okay.
So
Monday.
You have business rules material in the drive. Okay. PPT and the PDF. Go through that rules. Okay. You try some business rules which we have discussed, like defaulting or validation or propagation. Okay. Then we'll see you on next session.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay then.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ravi.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.